Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel where we talk about the business of entertainment and the entertainment of business. Today we're talking about the latest installment in the saga, that is Will Ferrell shilling for PayPal. If you recall, in our last video, we broke down the brilliant creative on the Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, the Gambler PayPal commercial, which was a kind of baffling mashup of country music, royalty, and online payments. And if you haven't seen that commercial or need a refresher, check out the link in the description below. It's worth a watch, and the numbers don't lie. That video has nearly 2 million views already. Well, today PayPal is doubling down on the strategy that made that video so successful by bringing back Will Ferrell, Dolly Parton, and the overall concept of paying your way. This time around, Ferrell doesn't have any dusty old board games to sell us, but he does return to the screen in a wildly funny and completely reimagined version of Fleetwood Mac's iconic hit, Go Your Own Way. In this installment, which we will obviously be showing clips from throughout this video, Ferrell and co. show us what happens when someone tries to pay their way through life without using PayPal. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. Now, before we dive into the video, we would like to thank all of you for joining us over the past few weeks. As many of you know, we've been going through a transition in our lives. We've got a new addition to the family. So, no, it's not me. I wish. I'm still working on mine. I am getting the vasectomy soon. But I really appreciate all of you sticking with us as we sort of figure out this new normal. We're very excited for this next chapter, and I hope that you're excited to join us along the journey. If you're new here, hey, welcome aboard. And if you're a longtime viewer, well, thank you. We appreciate you sticking with us. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into this whole PayPal thing. So this commercial, as you can see, is a lot different than the one that we talked about previously. And both of these commercials actually came out within a few days of each other. Obviously, PayPal did this very smart thing of saying, hey, let's bring back the host. Let us bring back the cast and characters from the previous commercial, and let SMP up the creativity because we think that this concept could work. In our last video, we talked about how PayPal tapped into nostalgia, and to some degree they do that again. By casting Will Ferrell, they're tapping into that late 90s, early 2000s nostalgia. When you think of Will Ferrell, what comes to mind? For me, it's Anchorman, it's Elf. It's basically anything that he did at SNL during that era of Saturday Night Live. And that S, important to note, because PayPal clearly knows that people associate him with that type of era. And you only have to look at some of the taglines that they use across their marketing material to see that very thing. PayPal gets it. They understand that people were born in 1983. So let's get into it. But first, if you want to learn more about these insanely successful creators, then you're going to want to subscribe. Here's why. Alright, so let's start off with the concept itself, because this is a really interesting take on how to market something as simple as paying your way. One of my favorite things that we saw in this commercial was this idea that if you don't pay the right way, everything turns to garbage. We see that when they're trying to pay with cash. Cash doesn't work. The register literally spits it out. And I love that they showed the guy holding the stack of money in front of him. You could tell that there was a significant amount of money there. And then cash doesn't work. So now they gotta go to card. Card doesn't work. Then they gotta do the whole, oh, sorry, we're closed routine. I think that's something that we've all experienced in our lives. Whether it was maybe your debit card didn't work, maybe you had a weird issue with your credit card. I know we've all been there. We've all had that happen to us. And then they try to use the PayPal app. That works. Everything comes back to life. The colors become vibrant once again. Music starts playing. And of course, it's not just PayPal that does that. We've seen Apple do that in their commercials. We've seen other brands do that in their commercials. But the one thing that I think PayPal is doing differently here that makes it really interesting is they rebuilding an entire world around the concept of paying your way. And it's really interesting to see that they have a complete creative vision that says if you pay the wrong way, if you don't pay with PayPal, well then everything sucks. And then when you pay the right way, when you pay with PayPal, everything is great. And obviously that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's funny. And of course, it's a commercial. And if you've watched our last video, we talked about the fact that the previous commercial wasn't just about buying something. It was about buying your way into a community, buying your way into a world where you could play fun games, you could get rewards, you could do all of these fun things. And what this commercial does brilliantly is it builds on that same exact premise, except this time we're talking about paying your way. Paying your way. It's not just putting a transaction through, it's actually entering yourself into this kind of metaverse, if you will, where everything is better, everyone's happier, everyone's nicer to you. And it's really smart, it's really funny, and it's something that I believe is going to resonate with audiences. And then of course, the cherry on top is they end the commercial by saying, hey, we're giving away $1,000 every day for 100 days, which is fantastic. And if you want to enter, it's super easy. All you have to do is scan the QR code or go to the website. What's cool about that is it's an organic ask. At the end of the commercial, they're not shoving it down your throat. They're just saying, hey, we're doing this thing, you might as well participate. And I think that's really smart. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does this all mean? How do we translate this into actual numbers? Well, the previous commercial, which again, we did a breakdown on, generated 46% lift in transactions, and what's interesting about that is those transactions weren't necessarily higher value. They weren't necessarily lower value. They were just more frequent. People were going onto PayPal and making more transactions, and that's exactly what they're probably looking for. In this commercial, which has been live for 3 days, now, we're starting to see similar trends. We're seeing 42% increase in transactions. And again, these aren't high-value transactions. These aren't low-value transactions. They're just more transactions. And that's what's important to PayPal, because PayPal isn't about selling a product, it's about becoming a lifestyle. It's becoming that thing that you do every day. It's becoming that thing that you choose to do every day. And ultimately, it's becoming the thing that makes your life easier. Whether that's sending money, whether that's receiving money, whether that's saving money, whether that's spending money. That's what PayPal is all about. We're seeing another 46% lift in active accounts. So people are creating new PayPal accounts because of this campaign. And then finally, we're seeing 31% increase in downloads. Overall, this is a massive win for PayPal. Their stock is up 6% this week. It's a massive win for whoever is handling the social media accounts, because across the board, these are really impressive numbers. And when you dig into the individual platforms, they're even more impressive. On YouTube, for example, we're seeing 70 million organic impressions and 1.6 million organic reach. That's not paid, that's not promoted, that's people actually clicking on the video and watching it. We're seeing 1.7 million impressions on Facebook and 300,000 impressions on Instagram. Overall, this is a huge success. And I think it goes to show that PayPal has found the formula for what makes a really good commercial. And that formula is nostalgia, a pinch of surrealism, and a truckload of will. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us, and we'll see you next time.